In this video, I decided to perform this experiment myself, step by step, and see exactly what happens if we try to completely remove Flatpak from Linux Mint. I'll tell you right from the start, the result was not what I expected, and I think this information will save you time and frustration if you want to try doing the same thing. Linux Mint comes with Flatpak pre-installed and directly integrated into Software Manager. Because of this, many users end up installing Flatpak applications automatically, sometimes without even realizing the difference compared to a classic apt package. So the natural question appears, can I completely get rid of Flatpak if I don't want to use it at all? The first thing I did was check which Flatpak applications were already installed on my system. To do this, we open the terminal and type the following command, flatpak list. This command displays a table with all applications and runtimes installed through Flatpak, along with their IDs and versions. It is useful to review the list before deleting anything, so you know exactly what is going to be removed from your system. All the commands I use in this video are neatly listed in the video description, so there is no need to pause the video to copy them from the screen. After checking the list, I moved on to the actual cleanup process. To remove all applications installed through Flatpak, I used the command flatpak uninstall -- all. This command removes all installed Flatpak applications one by one. Depending on how many applications you have installed, the process can take anywhere from a few seconds to several minutes. However, even after deleting all applications, some runtimes remain on the disk. These are the shared components that Flatpak applications needed in order to work. To remove these as well, we run another command, flatpak uninstall -- unused. This command searches for all runtimes that are no longer used by any application and automatically removes them. This step is optional, but recommended, because otherwise unnecessary files remain on your disk and take up storage space. Once I cleaned up all applications and runtimes, I moved on to the main part of the experiment, removing the Flatpak package from the system. For this, I ran the following command in the terminal, sudo apt purge flatpak. The apt purge command is more aggressive than a simple apt remove because it not only uninstalls the package, but also removes its associated configuration files. You will be asked for your administrator password, and the system will show you a list of everything that is going to be removed, including any dependencies that are no longer required. Even after the package has been removed through apt, certain Flatpak-related directories and files may still remain on the disk, especially those related to applications installed only for your user account or installed system-wide. For applications installed only for the current user, the relevant directory is rm-rf tilde/point-local/share/flatpak. This command completely removes the folder from your home directory, where the data for Flatpak applications installed only for your account was stored. For applications installed system-wide, meaning they are available for all users on that computer, the directory is located elsewhere, and we need administrator privileges to remove it. Sudo rm-rf/var/lib/flatpak. This step is also optional, but recommended if you want a complete cleanup and do not want anything left from the previous Flatpak installation. After deleting the main package and associated files, I also ran a standard system maintenance command, sudo apt auto remove. This command searches for packages that were installed as dependencies for other programs but are no longer needed and removes them automatically. It is a good step to perform whenever you uninstall something more complex from your system, not just in the case of Flatpak. To make sure everything went as expected, I ran the following command, flatpak -- version. If Flatpak was successfully removed, the terminal will display a message like, Flatpak command not found. This message confirms that the system no longer recognizes the Flatpak command and that the package has been completely removed. Up to this point, everything seemed perfect. The applications were deleted, the runtimes were cleaned, the package was uninstalled, the remaining files were removed, and the system confirmed that Flatpak no longer existed on the computer. If you are thinking about doing the same thing on your own system, this is the part you will want to pay attention to. After confirming that Flatpak had been completely removed, I opened Software Manager in Linux Mint, and this is where things took an unpleasant turn. Software Manager became stuck on a message like, generating cache 1 moment. Basically, the application appears to be loading, but it stays stuck there indefinitely. I waited several minutes, tried closing and reopening the application, but the result was exactly the same every time. Software Manager had, for all practical purposes, become unusable. The reason is quite logical if we think about it for a moment. Linux Mint's Software Manager is designed to work together with Flatpak as an application source, alongside traditional apt packages. When Flatpak is completely removed from the system, the component responsible for generating the application list becomes stuck because it expects to find a working Flatpak backend, but it is no longer available. So the conclusion of the experiment is clear. Unfortunately, completely uninstalling Flatpak from Linux Mint in the current form of the system is not a practical solution because it breaks the functionality of Software Manager. Fortunately, even though we cannot completely remove Flatpak without breaking Software Manager, there are a few good alternatives for those who simply want to avoid Flatpak applications and use only classic apt packages. The first solution, and the simplest one, is to adjust the preferences in Software Manager without uninstalling anything. Open Software Manager, and in the top left corner, you will notice an icon with 3 horizontal lines, also known as the hamburger menu. Click on it and choose the Preferences option. Here you will find 3 possible options. The first option is List All Types, which displays all available formats, both Flatpak and the classic apt package, if both exist for that particular application. This is usually the default setting. The second option is Only List the Flatpak, which displays only the Flatpak version if available, completely ignoring the apt version. The third option, and the one we are interested in for this case, is Only List the System Package, which displays only the system package, the classic apt version, completely ignoring Flatpak versions. Select this third option, then completely close Software Manager and open it again. After this step, whenever you search for an application, you will only see the available apt version, not the Flatpak version. This is an elegant solution because it does not affect the system's functionality in any way. Flatpak remains installed and works in the background, but as a user, you will no longer see or accidentally install Flatpak versions of applications. However, it is important to mention that this setting has one limitation. For some applications, the only available version in the repository is the Flatpak version, and there is no equivalent apt package available. For those who want even more control over installed packages and prefer to work exclusively with classic packages from the official repositories, an excellent alternative is Synaptic Package Manager. Linux Mint 22 was the last version that came with Synaptic pre-installed by default. Starting with later versions, Synaptic is no longer included by default, so you need to install it manually through Software Manager. Open Software Manager, search for Synaptic, and install it from there with just a few clicks. Synaptic is a graphical package manager that is much older and more mature than Software Manager. It allows you to see absolutely all programs available in the repositories, configured on your system, organized into categories, with very fast search, filtering, and installation options. Unlike Software Manager, Synaptic has no integration with Flatpak. It is a fast, stable application and very user-friendly for those who want to install programs strictly through the distribution's traditional package management system. You can browse through categories or use the search bar to quickly find any program you need, and installing the desired applications can be done with just a few clicks. So, as a quick summary of this experiment, I tried to completely uninstall Flatpak from Linux Mint, following all the necessary steps, from removing applications and runtimes, to deleting the main package and the remaining files from the disk. From a technical point of view, Flatpak was successfully removed. However, in practice, this complete removal breaks the functionality of Software Manager, which remains stuck while generating the cache and becomes unusable. My conclusion after this experiment is that it is not worth completely uninstalling Flatpak from Linux Mint. Instead, the much more practical solution is to set the Only List the System Package preference in Software Manager, so that you only see and install apt versions of applications. And for those who want even stricter control, Synaptic Package Manager remains an excellent choice. I hope this experiment was useful to you and that I saved you the trouble I went through, testing all these options to find out exactly what works and what does not. Thank you to all the channel members. Your support means a lot to me and helps keep the channel going. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you are not already subscribed, and leave a comment below if you have also tried removing Flatpak from your system and what your experience was. See you in the next video.